Welcome back to the Good as Gold Stock Exchange, the series where we analyze Pokemon usage stats from official events. We're back in Regulation H, and since this is a returning format, it has already had some development, so expect to see some similar faces in the top used Pokemon. This time around, the focus of the series will be Pokemon that over or underperformed. We determine this by looking at their win rates compared to their usage rates. Pokemon that were used a lot but have negative win rates are underperformers, and Pokemon that were used less but have very high win rates could be considered overperformers. This time we're taking a look at the Pittsburgh 2026 regional, the first regional in North America for the season, and the only reason we skipped Frankfurt is because I was far too busy in the last few weeks. Make sure to subscribe and like the video, and let's get into it. Taking a look at our top 12 Pokemon, we see Gholdengo hit an incredible high, taking the most used slot, along with other common suspects still seeing high usage in Regulation H. Sneasler, Dragonite, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and both Ursalunas, as well as the common rain Pokemon in the format, still remain common. Most win rates were very stable among these top 12, still hovering around 50%, and most of them were slightly above 50%, which generally means that these Pokemon are used an appropriate amount. Our biggest overperformer in the top 12 was Basculegion, with a 53.7% win rate, with Incineroar and Dragonite also nearly hitting 52% win rates. These are notable, but perhaps not overwhelmingly surprising, as again, these Pokemon are highly used, and we expect them to have pretty good win rates. Our biggest underperformer here was Pelipper, with a win rate of 49%, which again is not significantly below the average, just at 49. We could say that pretty much all of our top 12 Pokemon are a little bit underused because they still have generally slightly positive win rates, but most of them are pretty close to 50, so it's relatively stable. Our biggest overperformer for the whole event, with at least 2% usage, which is a good benchmark to consider something meta, was Tatsugiri, with a win rate of 56.2%, with a usage of just 3.5. This is significantly above the average win rate of 50, but begs the question, how did Dondozo do? It had a higher usage rate than Tatsugiri, but a lower win rate, with a win rate of 53.7 and a usage rate of 5.2. Which is still quite good, but it indicates that Solo Dondozo performed much worse than the classic Dozogiri combo. If we had only seen the Dozogiri combo played in the tournament, then they would have had the same win rate. But the fact that Dondozo's usage was higher and that its win rate was lower suggests that there was more Solo Dozo going around. If we average out the high Dozogiri win rate with the Solo Dozo win rate, that means that the Solo Dozo win rate would have had to be lower for Dondozo's win rate to be lower than Tatsugiri's. So Dozogiri performed better than Solo Dozo did at this tournament. This likely means that players were not as prepared for Dozogiri at this tournament, and perhaps it will still be strong going forward, as it seems to be under the radar still. This was an incredibly similar situation at Frankfurt, with Tatsugiri and Dondozo having significantly higher win rates, especially for their lower usage. And again, we see Tatsu having less usage but a higher win rate. It's very likely that this pairing will continue to do well in upcoming regionals if players do not better prepare for it. The aforementioned Basculegion is incredible right now, and fast Tailwind setters in Talonflame and even Kilowattrel performed incredibly well. These Pokemon give a strong hold on speed control and still offer significant damage with moves like Brave Bird and Flare Blitz from Talonflame and Air Slash and Thunderbolt from Kilowattrel. Thanks to Kilowattrel's competitive, it often finds itself having a +2 special attack boost if somehow one of its stats got dropped from Intimidate or some other stat dropping move. They both have a good matchup into the other most common Tailwind setter, Whimsicott, which might have contributed to its below average win rate of 48.1%, as they can both outspeed it and hit it super effectively. The biggest underperformers with at least 2% usage were Hisuian Lilligant and Armarouge, both of which are more commonly seen on Sunrune teams, perhaps boding poorly for this archetype. Hisuian Typhlosion, Primarina, Dragapult, and Indeedee Female all also saw significantly below average win rates, while still having high enough usage to be considered in the metagame. In summary, at Pittsburgh, the top threats had at least neutral, and in the majority of cases, slightly positive win rates. This shows that the meta picks are in fact strong, and are pulling slightly above their weight for what their win rate would suggest. Many of them are still underused. However, this means that more niche picks tended to underperform, as they had a hard time matching up against the proven meta threats, and many of these niche picks are still overused compared to their weak win rates. The Dozogiri combo was the biggest overperformer, and it also significantly overperformed at Frankfurt, so be sure to prep against it or try picking it up yourself. Thanks to the patrons for supporting the channel, and thank you for watching.